I posted a video the other day discussing the importance of pre-workout, post-workout, and even intra-workout nutrition. And in the video, I casually mentioned that some of my training sessions typically take up to 2 hours. And of course, the comment section was flooded with people saying, 2 hours of training is bad advice. 60 minutes is all you need for a good workout. 2 hours is too long. Or, my personal favorite, naturals can't train for 2 hours. And I'm sitting here reading this and thinking to myself, to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger himself, "You kids are soft." Now I get it. You all read things on the internet and follow trends. And right now, the low volume, high intensity training style is a hot trend. So currently, everyone is looking at everything through that lens. Low volume training was hot in the 90s and the early 2000s during the hard gainer era. But then by 2010 to 2015, the science-based bodybuilding community really shook things up. At that time, everyone was doing daily undulating periodization, or DUP. Bodybuilders were now powerlifting. They were training body parts 3 to 4 times per week. The whole idea was, in that era, the more volume, the better, right? Personally, I've been around this industry a long time, so trends, they really don't affect me. And I'm gonna continue doing what I do and talk about the things that actually work. And what I wanna talk about today is this whole idea of workout length has been completely blown out of proportion. And most people don't actually understand the argument behind workout length. So today, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about why longer workout lengths, workouts typically lasting longer than 60 minutes, are not only not an issue, but also might even be beneficial in some cases, and ultimately might even be necessary for some people. But first, let's actually discuss a bit why you might actually want shorter workouts. The first and main reason is gonna be time efficiency. Let's face it, most people that are in the gym for 2 to 3 hours, they're simply just in there wasting time. Those guys that you see at the gym training as you walk in, who are still there after you leave, typically, they're there talking with friends, training, texting between sets, and taking 15-minute breaks. There's absolutely no reason for this. And yes, that can even be counterproductive. These guys should absolutely cut out the talking, put some headphones on, and get in and train hard for 60 minutes, get out of the gym, eat, rest, and grow. Now, of course, not only is this not time efficient, but you might not actually want to be in the gym longer than 60 minutes. Personally, I love training, but you know what I don't love? If you don't already know this, that's wasting time. But I personally train way longer than 60 minutes. But to tell you the truth, I don't actually want to be in the gym longer than an hour. But I do so for a good reason, and I'll touch on that a bit more later. Now, the second reason most people will say that if you're in the gym longer than 60 minutes is actually a bad thing is because you're probably doing too much work. Now, if you're doing 20 to 30 sets per body part or some type of crazy volume in one single session, maybe you're even training multiple body parts each workout, you're gonna be in the gym for a really long time. And that amount of work, it's probably not gonna be the best for results either. Not to mention, a workout with that many sets, you're probably not applying a high level of intensity to each one of those working sets. If you were going all out on all those sets, doing 20 to 30 in one workout, you're probably not gonna make it all the way through the session. And if that's you, you can probably benefit from cutting down on some of the work and also shortening the length of the session. Now, the third reason people argue for shorter workouts is some science has come out over the years showing that higher cortisol is related to longer workouts. In addition, there's also arguments against lower growth hormone output, testosterone, etc. Now, you can do your research and you can find all these studies online. But I think by today's standards, even most well-respected researchers and exercise scientists all agree that these are generally short-term fluctuations. And in real-life application, there's not much of a major shift to these hormones throughout the rest of the 23-hour period of the day. So even by most people in the science-based community, this is really not an argument. So now, while these are all things you should consider when thinking about exercise length, I will say this: if you can keep your training sessions to 60 minutes and still maximize your progress, do it. Personally, I would love to be able to do that. But the fact is, there's also plenty of cases where you might actually need 90 minutes in the gym, maybe even 2 hours on some longer sessions. This becomes especially true at the advanced stages. The stronger you get, the bigger you get to continue making progress. Now, the first thing I want everybody to look at is every successful competitive bodybuilder. Despite what you read online, most competitive bodybuilders, they're typically in the gym longer than an hour. And wait, I know the argument is coming, but those are enhanced bodybuilders, right, Pete? Yes, but this also goes for natural bodybuilders as well. Even better, I know tons of natural bodybuilders who train by a low volume, high intensity approach that are typically in the gym up to 90 minutes a session. These are guys that train leaving no reps in the tank, every set to failure, and to accomplish the workload that they have in the gym, they might take 90 minutes to 2 hours in the session. I'll walk you through a typical workout. Let's take the low volume, high intensity approach, assuming you're leaving no reps left in the tank. Very popular today. Volume is going to be on the lower end. Let's take a very standard 6 sets per muscle group. If you're training push, that's 6 sets for the chest, 6 sets for the delts, and 6 sets for the triceps. By most people's standards, this is fairly low volume for each muscle group. That's still 18 sets for the entire workout. Now, if you're taking every working set to failure and you want to perform your absolute best each set, you're looking at roughly 2 to 3 minutes rest in between each set of a compound lift. And for isolation movements, you're looking at the bare minimum of 60 to 90 seconds rest between sets. Now, let's throw warm-up sets on top of this and also include the time it takes to perform each working set. Add all that time up. Now, you're likely going to be at the gym a bare minimum of 60 minutes. But now, what if you're very strong? The average gym goer might be bench pressing with, let's say, 135 pounds. That might first require 1 or 2 warm-up sets with the bar, or maybe 60 to 90 pounds. Then you can jump right into your working weight. But as I've said over and over again on this channel, as you become bigger, as you become stronger, as you become more advanced, the game changes. If I'm training bench press for a heavy set of, let's say, 6 to 8 reps, the weight that personally I'm going to be using is going to be about 315 pounds. Now, I've also been training for 20 years, and I'm a bit more stiff than the average person in the gym. That means for me personally, I'm going to actually need 7 warm-up sets on bench press before I even get up to my working weight. I've literally counted this out, and my warm-up for sets of 315 on bench would first start with an empty bar for 20 repetitions, 135 for 10 reps, 185 for 5 reps, 225 for 3 reps, 250 for 3 reps, 275 for 3 reps, 295 for 1 single rep, then on to 315 for a set of 6 to 8 reps. I'm resting at least 1 to 2 minutes between each of these sets. Yes, even the warm-ups. Now remember, these additional 7 sets, they're warm-ups and not working sets. I want to get my body warm and ready before I get up to the heavy weight, then push my working sets. Now that could easily take me 15 minutes of warming up before I even get to my first set. By 20 minutes into the workout, I might only have performed 2 working sets so far. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying everyone should do this, but I guarantee you that as you become stronger and you become more advanced, you're gonna find yourself doing this out of necessity. Anyone who's strong in the gym, natural bodybuilder, enhanced bodybuilder, or just a typical strong lifter in your gym, he's not walking into leg day for a moderate 12 to 15 set workout and getting that done in under 60 minutes. Let's say he's squatting 4 plates or more. I guarantee you he's gonna be in the squat rack alone for at least 20 to 30 minutes. Then he's gonna go on to leg extensions, leg curls, leg press, calf raises, etc. Now, to give you a better perspective of my personal training sessions, I generally train 2 body parts together. In some cases, I might even hit 3 if it's a smaller muscle group, but I never have super high volume sets. They never actually have more than 20 working sets in them. And if anything, the average workout might have 16 to 18 sets max. But now, with warm-ups, my intensity level, and the amount of rest required in between each set, I'm easily in the gym for 90 minutes on a typical workout. And on days that I'm just moving a bit slower, or I need a bit more warm-ups, maybe even a few more minutes rest in between sets, 2 hours would not be out of the question. And if you go and you actually train with some serious competitive bodybuilders, I think what you'll find is that this length of time in the gym is not really that uncommon. But now, let's talk a bit more about what this actually means for you and how you should personally think about time spent in the gym. I'll say it here. Your number one focus when entering the gym is never to train longer than you need to. If you could get all your working sets in, rest long enough, and be productive each and every workout and get out of the gym in less than 60 minutes, by all means, do it. If you could do it in even less time, even better. Personally, I miss being able to do that. Now, if you find yourself in 90 minutes, but think you could find yourself in a position to do it in a more efficient manner, go for it. Now, if you're someone that's in the gym longer due to the fact that you keep adding additional sets to your workouts, first, ask yourself, are those additional sets actually getting me better results? This is where junk volume can come into play. And we never want to do additional work in the gym just for the sake of it. If you're starting to do more volume than you currently do, there better be a good reason for it. If there isn't, cut those sets out. Now, if your workouts are starting to get longer than they were previously, and you haven't added any additional sets, and you're not resting any longer, then you may have actually inevitably gotten stronger. You may be training with heavier weights. That's causing you to perform more warm-up sets. That's causing you to spend more time in the gym before you even get up to your working weight. Now, at this point, there's a few things you could do. You can definitely consider using other movements that might not require as much warm-up time, but also you could just understand that at this stage of the game, this is how it goes. You're now gonna have to do things in the gym that you didn't have to do when you were weaker and smaller. You should also understand that at this stage, that additional time investment can be one of the most beneficial things you can do. And finally, if you do find yourself in the gym for a very long time, ask yourself, is your training productive throughout the entire workout? Meaning, if you're performing the last sets at the tail end of, let's say, a 2-hour workout, are those sets you're performing at the end of the workout as productive as the first sets you were doing? Now, if you program your training appropriately, and you're not just hammering away at sets for one body part throughout that entire 2-hour session, you definitely can. But if the quality of work you're doing just sucks, you need to reevaluate your training split. And some things that you could also focus on further is prioritizing your pre-workout nutrition, your post-workout nutrition, and even your intra-workout nutrition. If you're in the gym for 90 minutes, but it's necessary for progress, is that actually a bad thing? No, of course not. But now, if you're in the gym for, let's say, 2 hours a day, and you're not making any progress at all, you're just spinning your wheels, you probably should cut it down. But don't just take my word for it. I encourage you to experiment for yourself and let your body actually tell you what's right and what's wrong. But if you do so, don't be afraid to stick to some arbitrary 60-minute rule in the gym. I promise you, your brain's not gonna say, I've been in here for 61 minutes. Let's start to burn off muscle tissue. Let's get weaker and let's possibly injure ourselves. Don't be afraid to think outside the box and learn for yourself. And if you want the exact training programs that I personally recommend to build muscle using proven old school bodybuilding methods, all my old school mass gain programs can be found down below. And as always, if you want to see more of the best original bodybuilding content just like this, make sure to hit subscribe.